He is the youngest member of Congress, 27-year-old Aaron Schock from Peoria. He's making a name for himself in Washington, and he's trying to help lead the Republican Party out of the wilderness.
WGN's Grant Rampey is with us tonight, all the way from Washington. Recently spent some time with Schock, giving us an up-close and personal look.
Very fun. We interviewed him in his Capitol Hill office not too long, a few days ago. I kept looking at him thinking, where have I seen that face? And then it hit me a few hours later. He's Doogie Howser, MD, with darker hair. You may remember Neil Patrick Harris, who played Doogie Howser in the early '90s TV show. He's also still on television now, a go-getter kid who jumpstarts his adult life. He enters the big leagues of his profession before many of his peers have even started their careers. And so it is with Aaron Schock, off to an early start in politics, headed who knows where.
Well, obviously, I'm very concerned about the direction of our country right now.
Just another day in D.C. for this Republican congressman who holds the seat once occupied by Abraham Lincoln. Time for another vote. Representative Schock checks with his staffers who tell him there are people waiting to see him. He holds their meeting on the go, on the walk between his office and the Capitol right across the street.
I like to stay busy, so I'm having a lot of fun. It's a lot of work.
There is Schock's other side, Gym Rat, the guy who works out almost religiously. The side few see in this town. Most lawmakers favor the low-glam Washington Power uniform. Schock appears just as comfortable mugging for magazine photo shoots or hitting the track.
The average age of a member of Congress this year is 57, the oldest in our country's history, and I would suggest that our government would look a lot different if there were more members of Congress that were in their 20s.
It's an oft-told tale how Schock won a spot on his hometown school board in Peoria at 19, went on to serve in the State House at 23. Now at 27, he is the youngest member of Congress. He's been chased by celebrity photographers, quizzed by Stephen Colbert about his physique.
Do you have six-pack abs? Yes.
He apparently does. So, youth, a blessing or a handicap?
I don't allow that to define me, and I take my responsibilities here very seriously.
Look around his office, and you see a few pictures of the Gipper. There were those Carter years, right before Democrats lost power.
The country turned to a man named Ronald Reagan, who talked about fiscal responsibility, talked about economic growth.
Well, when Reagan began his first term, Schock had not been born. Now he's touted as one of his party's young guns, the hope of the new generation, the guy that senior Republicans come to for help.
I joke that I've had a few of them come up to me and say, you know, Aaron, you got to teach me how to speak to young people.
Schock fumbles with one of his two BlackBerries.
Don't mind me, I just got to take this. I'm just kidding.
He makes the case that embracing new technology and spreading a new message is the way the grand old party will ultimately reach younger voters.
And so I think we've hit bottom. We have to respect diversity and be inclusive as a party.
This is a guy who's just come to Washington. This is a place where it takes years to build up the seniority to accomplish things, and he's in the minority party. So we'll take a little while to see whether he can realize his potential.
Schock has already joined the House Republican leadership. What's next for him?
I'm someone who takes my life one day at a time.
He likes what he's doing, even though it affords little time for this unmarried guy who could be a playboy to have a social life. He says he plans to run for re-election in a year and a half. Beyond that,
I don't know what the future holds. If somebody would have told me 4 years ago when I ran for the State House that I'd be in Congress 4 years later, I'd have laughed at them. But one thing in my short life I've learned is that you can't time opportunities. Opportunity presents itself, and you have to decide to go for it or not.
Again, Aaron Schock is 27, 2 decades younger than Barack Obama. One day, he says, he might go back to the private sector. He was in real estate for a while. A couple more years, he'll be eligible for a seat on the other side of Capitol Hill, the Senate, where the Constitution requires that all members be at least 30 years old. Nice and old. Senior.
Exactly.
He's very poised.
He kills me. He's 27. Of course, all 27-year-olds, you got a problem with that?
Well, it took you until, I don't know, I'm not going to ask how old you are, to get here and be with us on the set.
And I'm 55. You know, come on.
Well, welcome anyway. Thank you.
Welcome,
Good to see you.
welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you.